Welcome back. Today we will be looking at module number 3, and that is based on one core element of what we know as the Agile software development process. So the Agile software development process is very much like the fundamentals of cybernetics. While back in the 90s and earlier than that, people used to write a whole big definition of specification of what they wanted to have be built as software, pass it over to the software engineers. They did something, passed it back, and by the time they were finished, they not only had created a lot of misinterpretations, but also the market of that software had moved, so it didn't make any sense anymore. That was very common. So one person with a military background, so it's just basically an military technology, had the idea that when you're landing a plane, it's not like you're writing one big specification 1 mile out and where you want to land, and then you target that. What you do is you adjust every couple of seconds, because the wind changes, your altitude changes, the temperature changes, everything changes. So in order to land that plane safely. And this is how Agile software development or Agile development of anything works. You course correct all of the time. Now, in environments where you have no idea what you are confronted with, where everything you do is a first, because you're building a new piece of software, for example, you have to deal with lots of unknowns. And you need to have some confident way of measuring what you are actually achieving throughout this process. So what Scrum teams usually do, and Scrum is one way of doing Agile, is they use a methodology they call Scrum Poker. And with Scrum Poker, once the team has understood one task at hand, everybody will think about the complexity, the perceived complexity of that task, and then come up with a number that represents that complexity. And then everybody puts up their number at the same time. And there's a set range of numbers. It's the first couple of numbers from the Fibonacci series, which is almost exponential, so it shows that it becomes very, very complex very quickly. Whereas in the beginning it tends to be rather trivial. And we will be using this technique of Scrum Poker whenever we want to put a value onto something. We can even use that to put a value onto something that we cannot really measure, but we can describe how big or how complex it is in comparison to some other value. So that's our third element. On to the next.